The S1000RR BMW started off as a plastic-bodied modern sport bike. The inspiration for this was to take this 200 horsepower sport bike and turn it into kind of a vintage 70s, 80s race bike of the period. For about 15 years now, I've actually been using Progressive insurance for all my motorcycles. As I started into the business of a motorcycle shop, I continued to insure with Progressive because they have an option where you can cover up to $3,000 worth of custom or accessories on your motorcycle. And their understanding of the kind of work and parts and pieces that we put on bikes that really are worth real money. I then learned that they'd been insuring for 50 years. I thought of them as a new company, but apparently they're not. And then I found out that they were the #1 motorcycle insurer out there. So we kind of talked to Progressive about it, and there was something that they wanted to support. Apparently their company owns one of the largest art collections in the world, which I had no idea. It was perfect. It was this great combination. We could finish this motorcycle we've been working on, work with an artist we wanted to work with, and obviously foster some goodwill with Progressive. Andy's kind of took the lead on doing the bodywork for this bike, and I think that he deserves a lot of credit for how well it turned out.
This bike is a love letter to all of my favorite race bikes from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I think you can see that in some of the shapes. You know, the real small tail comes from some of the 90s GP stuff. The big bubble fairing comes from 70s GP bikes.
So why not make it kind of look like those, but have all the modern technology of a new bike?
To be honest, I really have very little that I can contribute to, to the S1000 project as an engineer, because I'd be crazy to think that I'm going to outperform the massive team of engineers at BMW that did such a phenomenal job. Fantastic technology. Just seriously unbelievable what it takes to get that stuff to work.
We're all really happy with how the body and the shape turned out and how it looks, but again, there was just something missing. We needed to accessorize the bike with paint, which we've never done. And my preferred guy to work with was Nico, Ornamental Conifer.
I'd say my style probably comes from my lack of ability to paint anything figurative. I just focused on typography for so long and never really bothered to learn anything else. So when Alan first approached me to paint the bike, I obviously asked for some photos to be sent through. I'd seen a couple of the glamour shots on the internet, but I wanted to see the real thing from every angle prior to coming to Texas. So when those photos arrived in my inbox, I got to admit there was a slight amount of anxiety and panic. When something's like handcrafted and then you're given it to work on top of, it's like saying, hey, I've made this amazing painting, now you do something on top of it. It's like, feels like I'm destroying a piece of art.
I think the bike is really cool. I think the paint is really cool. I think the design that we did is really cool. I'm really proud of how it turned out. Thanks to BMW, thanks to Nico Sclater and Ornamental Conifer. Thank you, Progressive, for supporting the arts and the creative stuff that we're doing here.